Hello and welcome to Magickal Witchy World. I am Star Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen. Welcome, everybody. And we are so excited to have you with us again this week.
And tonight we are proud to welcome Rhonda Choudhry to the Magickal Witchy World TV.
Excellent. Hold on one second while we share an intro. Welcome, Rhonda. It's always nice to say that, even though it's not
We're
me.
so happy to have you here. Oh my gosh.
It's good to see you guys cooking.
Look at how gorgeous she's looking. The goddess has arrived.
This is like old home week here.
I know, right? We're like, woo!
Well, welcome. And we want to introduce everyone to you. So I am actually going to read through a bio so that everyone watching can get introduced to you and your background. Rhonda Harris-Choudhry is the author of You Are Not Broken, How to Retrain Your Brain, Clean Up Your Energy, and Use Emotional Shape-Shifting to Raise Your Vibration and Manifest Your Desires, with special attention to empaths and sensitive people. She is a professional psychic, empath, spiritual counselor, artist, musician, witch, and healer. Rhonda's mission is to empower everyone by teaching them about their innate spiritual and self-healing gifts and their innate power to manifest their dreams. So we have a link to a book for reading and consultation of healing, and we're going to put that link in the stream that we'll be sharing with everyone later on today in our tonight's interview, as well as the best place to find you, which is goddessrhonda.com. So welcome, Rhonda, and so happy to see you again.
We are so happy to see you, girl. All right. So tonight we have a few questions for the lovely goddess. And we kind of go there with everyone with this part, because we kind of know that, over the years, because many, especially, we've all been around for a few years. So we kind of know we go through this journey of what we call ourselves and where we end up at the particular time in your life right now. So we kind of want to know what you've called yourself over time and where you are with it now. And we'll kind of go with it from there.
Oh boy, I've called myself so many things: a witch, a pagan. I've settled on universalist because I believe in everybody's spirituality. I do. So I can talk to anybody, whatever their spirituality is, but deep down into my bones, I'm a witch.
There you go. There you go. That's reminded you of Practical Magic, right?
Exactly.
When she says, well, here it is. I'm a witch.
This is me. This is what I do.
That's what I like, I think it's a good word. It has power to it, and I just love it. It's just who I am.
There you
go. On.
Love it.
Makes sense. Perfect. Well, in that same vein, just looking at the route that you've taken, the road that you've taken to get to where you are right now, can you tell us, what brought you to the world of the witch? What brought you here?
Absolutely. I was, when I was a kid, I was very psychic. And I would tell my parents things. They just pat you on the head. Oh, yeah. It's just your imagination, And so that's actually the beginning of self-doubt, is when your parents and people are like, you're just imagining things. That's not real. That's not real. Because when you're a little kid, who are you looking for direction from? Your elders. And what they tell you has to be right, because your parents said it must be right. So that automatically makes you start doubting yourself. Then to add layers to that, my parents were, Baptists. They would bring us into the church, every Sunday. Nowadays, from what I've seen on on YouTube and things like that, it looks like ministers talk more in a conversational kind of a way. But when I went to church, it was hell, fire, and brimstone. With the minister screaming at you from the pulpit, you're horrible, you're evil, you were born a sinner, nothing, you're just always going to be sinner. And as an empath, that hit me even harder because he's screeching at me. So I'm feeling the vibration because, words have vibration.
Yeah.
And they
Absolutely.
weren't saying it in a loving, like, oh, come to Jesus and be loved. It was, you're going to go to hell if you don't. And screeching at you. And so those vibrations, I would sit there like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person, because I have these abilities. I must be evil. I did. I thought I must be evil. There must be something wrong with me because that's what I was taught.
Right.
And then, so then I went to help myself, quote unquote. I ended up joining a really conservative church, the Church of Christ, which, and the reason that I actually joined that church was because my fiance, who used to be a wild one, all of a sudden started going to church on Sunday. And I'm like, really? There has to be a girl there. Has to be a girl. Definitely he's got a girlfriend. That's why he's going there all suited up and looking good. So I'm like, I'm going to church with you. And he's like, okay. So, I went there and it was a very, very, very conservative church. Like, they believed women should be silent in the churches. Like, women, no power, nothing, nothing at all like that. And what happened was my fiance was very controlling and became abusive. And one day he literally physically attacked me.
Wow.
And he went back to the church because by that time he was a part-time minister.
Oh,
and
wow.
told them all kinds of lies about me. He caught me cheating, blah, blah. None of this was true. And the church shunned me.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, am I allowed to say? I can say it.
Yep. We kind of go there.
Like that, then I'm going to start looking at being a witch because that's what I've always felt drawn to. I read novels about it and things like that. So I'm like, you know what? But, back in the olden days, we didn't have the internet. Right. We had a library. And you were lucky if they had one book. They had like one book on witchcraft, which was even as an amateur, I knew was bullshit. I just knew.
Right.
My old soul was like, that's not it. And I didn't know, where am I going to get this information from? Who? You had to go on a quest. That's one of the things witches don't have today. Today's witches, we had to go on a quest.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had to go on a quest for knowledge. We had to work at it to really find it. And what happened was Newsday, the Long Island paper, did this spread on Samhain. And they had featured this coven that wasn't that far from me. We used to have phone books. We don't have those anymore. But I feel like I'm such a dinosaur because I'm talking about libraries and
girl, we there with you. We are there with you.
Yeah.
But I looked up his name in the phone book, the guy who they said was the priest there, the high priest. He was in the phone book. I called him up and I said, hey, I saw your article. I've been dying to know more. This is something I want to be a part of. Can I come to your ceremony that year? He's like, sure. So I went, and that was my introduction into the witch community, which I was fully welcomed into. And then that helped me, to get actually out into the community. They took me to bookstores in the city that I never would have known about.
Right.
On Long Island. And then finally somebody opened up a metaphysical bookstore in Babylon that had all the books and things like that. And I got to join a coven and things. But like I said, back then you had to go on a quest, like on TV movie shows. You had like Lord of the Rings practically. You had to go on a quest.
It was a journey.
It was a journey. It was a journey. And it's something, I still have the mark where they in the coven when I got initiated, where they pricked me, I'm very proud of that mark on my finger because I worked for that shit. It wasn't like, I just went on Amazon. It's like, this is how you do it. And that's what I feel bad. I mean, and this is not putting down today's modern witches. I know y'all work with what y'all have to work with. But I just feel like the whole quest thing and really learning that way and learning from a priestess and, getting the coveted and secret books for the first initiate that no one else could see. But it was just like it was a journey. Yeah. And so it
Yeah.
brought me here.
Yeah, there you
Right
go. There you
on.
go.
That's fabulous. Thank you for sharing
That's
that.
awesome. Okay, so I wanted to kind of find out from you, from your point of view, not anyone else's, but your point of view, what does it mean to be a witch?
Okay, so you see that I'm wearing this lovely crown on my head.
Yes, yes, we're
Yeah.
loving it.
First, before I talk about this,
Hmm.
because this is going to tie into what it is to be a witch. You know, when we think about, first of all, you know the expression "heavy is the head that wears the crown."
Yes.
I
Yes.
always thought that was
Yes.
about, the responsibilities. No, this shit is heavy. This thing weighs about 20 pounds. And when you take it off, you can still feel it like pressing on your
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
But it's a
Yeah, yeah.
reminder because sometimes we forget, we get into our human frame of mind and we forget who and
Hmm.
what we are.
Right.
And so what had
Hmm.
happened was I had done that. I went through a big shadow work. I did a ton of shadow work over the past few years. And it
Yeah.
was shadow work. You literally go through the 7 gates of hell. And then you come
Hmm.
out the other side. You have to face a lot of
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
Things
Yeah.
that went on that you didn't want to deal with 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You
Right
got to deal
on.
with it to cleanse your
Yeah.
soul. And I feel like in part of that journey, I forgot who I was.
Ah.
As I went through the human emotional type of healing, because even though is you can do the
Hmm.
meditations, you can do the cleanses, and you can do things like that, but your emotions have to
Hmm.
catch up.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
emotions have to catch up. And so I had to let my emotions catch up to all the work that I've been doing and shed a lot of things. I feel like for a while I lost who I was. And then one day
Hmm.
I was doing my usual scroll, doing my little, I call it my internet window shopping. And I saw this rose quartz tiara and I said, you know what? I'm going to start wearing a crown because it reminds me of the power that I have. So I
Right.
don't ever forget again that I am a very powerful woman. And so I
Mhm.
wore it. I started wearing it like to the grocery stores. Little girls
Oh
are looking at
wow,
me like,
that's
oh my
Right
awesome.
on.
God. Women are looking at me like,
I love
huh?
it.
And I didn't
Yeah,
care. It's like, fuck
that's
it.
all
That's
true.
one of the benefits of being in your 60s is you don't give a fuck. I have
Yep.
fun and I don't really care what you think. And
Truth.
so
This is
I
about
wore
me.
it
This is about
to
me.
I wore it to one day. I wore it to the radio station, and
Hmm.
because I do a show every Wednesday on Kiss 97.3, I do readings and stuff. And the DJ was so impressed. The first words out of her mouth was, "Why did you not tell me you were wearing a crown? I would have worn it. I just didn't think about it,
She would have been
you
wearing hers.
know."
Wear
I
one too.
would
Yeah.
have worn one. I was like, I didn't even think about it, because at this time, by that time, I was so used to slapping it on my head.
Yeah.
And she was so impressed. After the show, she went online and she brought me 11 more crowns. She bought
Oh
That is
my
11
amazing.
God.
crowns.
That is
And
fabulous.
because she loved it, and she bought for her, she bought for me, because she just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear a crown every day too. So now
That's
I have
right.
like all these gorgeous crowns. Now to tie that into being a witch,
Mm-hmm.
witches are of service. This is my
Yeah.
thing. I know not every witch feels that they have to be of service to anybody. They may be doing their own thing or just focusing on their family, but I am of service.
Hmm.
And when we think of royalty, we see them on TV and we think of them sitting there on their thrones, all sedity like that, with their
Hmm.
jewels and stuff like that. But the truth of the
Hmm.
matter is, though that royalty, those kings and queens, they had no personal life. They were of service to the people. They couldn't marry who
Right
they
on.
wanted to marry. They had to marry who benefited the kingdom. And they had to sit
That's
on their
right.
throne all day while their people, the villagers or whatever you want to call them, their kingdom people, would come to them with
Hmm.
complaints. All day they'd sit there. So and so stole
Your
my sheep.
subjects.
So and so did this
Yep.
to me. They're charging us too many taxes. They'd have to address each person and try to deal with whatever their situation that they were going through. But they sat there and listened to complaints all day long. They had to make sure
Yes,
their people
indeed.
had food, that their kingdom was prosperous, that there was food for everybody, everybody had shelter. They had zero personal lives. And as a switch of service, because I have dedicated and sacrificed a great deal of my
Mhm.
personal life to be of service.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
my definition of a witch is spiritual royalty of service.
There you go.
Well
Thank
said.
you. That was awesome.
Love
That's
that.
amazing.
Love that. So, and you know, when you say of service, this brings us to something that's our next question, because then it's like, so then how do you now translate that? What does service look like? How do you bring that magic or that service into your everyday life?
Okay, so for me, I used to, for the most part, a lot of my work centered on, of course, doing readings and helping people to figure out how to manifest
Mhm.
what they wanted, how to get out of the abyss up into, like, so they could see what they're doing, to give them guidance and do my
Mhm.
healing work and things like that. Um, Nowadays, I've shifted a lot of my focus helping people who have been victims, I shouldn't say victims, that are survivors of narcissist
Yes.
abuse and also sexual assault, and dealing
Mhm.
with these
Mhm.
things on a soul level and cleansing them of that. Because a lot of people, and especially a lot of empaths, I have found just in doing my readings and talking to people and learning about people, a lot of them were born with a heavy influence of either a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath, or someone who is
Well,
completely
yeah.
unavailable to them. And so, what happens with empaths, because they're also a huge focus of mine, I specialize in cleaning them up, is that when you're living under a narcissistic influence,
Mm.
your day is going to be determined how that person's mood is going to be.
I agree. Yeah.
So you walk on eggshells all
Yeah.
the time. And I actually believe that that is why empaths feel things so strongly, because as a child, your only line of defense was to feel what's going on, to feel the danger that may be coming at you based
Yeah.
on the vibrations that that person was pushing towards you.
Right.
And a lot of them are also, like I am, an adrenaline addict because of that. Because when
Mhm.
you're walking
Mhm.
on eggshells all the time, your adrenaline is pumping, your system thinks you're in danger because basically you
Yeah.
are. And, maybe not necessarily physical abuse, but emotional abuse, psychological abuse, emotional unavailability. There's all kinds of things
Mm.
that go with that. But if you're dealing with a narcissistic energy that is malignant, that will put you down, especially if you're the daughter of a mother who is a narcissist, they will
Mm.
treat you as competition. They will not treat you as a daughter, and do
Mhm.
everything they can to chip away at your psyche. So you grow up in this hyper vigilant psychic state because you don't know what they're going to do or what they're going to say. And so now your
Yeah.
adrenaline is pumping, and the purpose of our adrenaline is to either run away, or to fight back. But as a child, you can do
Mhm.
neither. What are you going to
Right.
do? Where are
Right.
you going to run to? Who are you going to fight? And so the adrenaline has
Mhm.
nowhere to go. And so you actually become very addicted to it. And so because of that, your body, because adrenaline is actually epinephrine and dopamine, they're very highly addictive
Mhm.
sources. And
Yeah.
so what
Yeah.
happens is you start, because you're your own drug dealer now.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're running at you come to me saying, "Oh my God, I have so much anxiety. I have panic attacks and this and that." It's like, well, it's not exactly a panic attack. What's happening is you could be sitting there, on your couch watching Netflix or whatever it is you watch, and all of a sudden you feel this wave of anxiety come over you out of nowhere. Where did it come from? You don't know. And
Mhm.
then you start getting even more nervous, and it turns into a panic attack. Well, what's really going on is your body saying, "Oh, look, 8:22, time for a fix."
Mhm.
Whoosh.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it just floods you with adrenaline because it's like taking a heroin fix or whatever. It tries to
Yeah.
keep it going.
So.
And subconsciously, a person who is an empath adrenaline addict will create circumstances in their life to keep the adrenaline pumping.
Mm.
They'll procrastinate to the last second. They'll get involved with people, that keep that adrenaline
Mm.
going. I've talked to so many of them, and they're all will be involved with narcissist after narcissist after
Wow.
narcissist. And I say to them, what is it that's drawing you to? What do you think is drawing you to these people? Oh, well, I like they have these nice eyes, or there's just something, their energy. I just
Your fit.
connected to their energy and things like that. And I said, well, maybe we need to look for another type of person. Oh, no, I like my type. I have a certain type. I said, yeah, well, how's that type working out for
Yeah.
you? Let's change that up and let's talk about why you're
Right.
attracted to that type.
Yes.
You're not attracted to that man or woman because they have big eyes or sexy hair. What you're attracted to is their narcissistic energy.
Yeah.
Because when you were growing up, that's what you knew was
And
love.
that's what
Mhm.
you're attracted
This is
to now. You're
and
kind of it's ingrained in your system.
You're
Yeah.
just
yeah.
bringing in, and also a lot of empath adrenaline addicts and empaths in general, because of that, they confuse that energy, or they will
Mhm.
subconsciously use that person as a surrogate to try to heal the relationship with the
Wow.
first
Yeah.
narcissist. So in my practice, we go back to who was your first
Wow.
narcissist. And then
This
they'll say,
is
oh, my mother or my father. And I said, okay, thinking of your mother or your father or your uncle, whoever it is energy. Does that energy of the people that have been abusive to you and narcissistic, do you feel the energy, is it the same? And they're like, yeah,
mhm.
it is. It's the
Yeah.
same, or they the same, or whatever. So I said, what you're really doing is you're not having a relationship with this person. You're trying to heal. You're using them as a
Right.
surrogate
So,
to heal the relationship
I-
with the original narcissist.
what you're talking about, I mean, that's very deep work that you're doing with the
Yeah.
people. And I'm just trying to close our arms around how that fits with the quote magic of your day-to-day world. That work that you're doing in your day-to-day practice, if you will, I don't want people to come away not connecting, that there's a lot of self-healing, and I'm going to use that word
Yeah. Yeah.
magic because it is elevating. It's taking people out of that place of not knowing how to, not reading the signs and
Right.
symbols. I'm going to
Right.
use those words. Yeah.
Exactly. So training them to use their empath and
On
psychic
a daily
abilities
Mhm.
basis.
to
Yeah.
avoid these
Yeah.
people. So, for example, I had that challenge, and someone asked me, well, what do you do when you find yourself you're attracted to someone? I say, I run. I run as fast as I can to the other side of the room so that my emotions don't get in the way,
Mhm.
and I can feel that person's energy.
Yeah.
I don't hear what they're saying. I'm feeling
Right.
what they're
Right.
feeling
Yes.
to see if they are actually safe. And also stepping out. I've been working heavily with people, and you guys are going to do this as an experiment, whether you like it or not, is teaching people how to step out of vibration. So, for
Mhm.
example, everybody needs money. So we're just going to use money for now. Because unless have you guys become independently wealthy in the
We can
past?
all use money. We can
When I
All
all
right.
get there,
use
we will be
additional
talking about it. But
resources.
until then, not yet.
Right.
All right, so here, and anyone who is listening, I would like for all of you to do this because we're going to do it twice. First, so you can feel it, and the second time to clear it. But I need you to stand. Are you able to stand up?
I'm standing right now. I'm at a standing desk.
You're standing?
Yes.
Okay, Goddess Star, can you stand up, or will
Yeah,
it
I
screw up
can't. I
your
can't. I'm
camera?
good though. I'm good where I
She
am.
wouldn't be on camera.
Are you sitting on, what are you sitting
Yes.
on? Are you sitting on a chair? Does your chair
No.
have wheels? If I ask you to move your chair to the right, are you able
I
to do that?
can, but then I'm off the focus because I have
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then you're off the
Yeah.
Yeah.
focus.
It's
Okay,
not
so
set
then
up for me
Rhonda's
to be
going to be,
moving back and forth or anything.
Yeah.
okay, so Rhonda, since you're already standing,
Mhm.
you're going to be the guinea pig.
I'm guinea pig.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. First, let me see you. If you step to the right, just to take a little step to the right. Let me see if I can still
If
see you.
camera right, this is my right. Is that correct?
That's perfect.
Okay.
We can still see you.
Mhm.
Okay, come back to where you were. In fact, maybe a little bit more to the left so you have extra room to step. Okay, I want you to just repeat after me.
Okay.
Are you
Yes.
ready? I step out of the vibration of poverty.
I step out of the vibration of poverty.
Step to the right. Repeat after me. I step into the vibration of financial wealth and prosperity.
I step into the vibration of financial wealth and prosperity.
Okay, stand there for 1 second. Now, I want you to step back to the left where you were and see if you can feel the energy you stepped out of.
I feel more than anything a hum, a buzz. What's the
A
word?
buzz, it's a
Yeah,
vibration.
yeah.
Okay, so now let's do it again. But this time we're going to clear the energy. We're not going to have you step back into it.
Okay.
Repeat after me one more
Yes.
time. I step out of the vibration of poverty.
I step out of the vibration of poverty.
Step to the right. I step into the vibration of financial wealth and prosperity.
I step into the vibration of financial wealth and prosperity.
Now just turn to the left.
Turn to
Just
the
turn
left.
to the left. There you go. Now with your hands, I want you to scoop the air up to the sky. Just scoop the air up and say, I send that vibration of poverty.
I send that vibration of poverty
into the light for healing and resolution.
into the light for healing and resolution.
Turn towards us again. Put your hands in prayer position and say, I live in the vibration of financial wealth and prosperity.
I live in the vibration of financial wealth and prosperity.
There you go. How's that
Beautiful.
feel?
Awesome. Awesome. That is
And
beautiful.
I embrace
Yay.
that. I embrace that. I embrace that.
Beautiful.
I thank you for that. I'll take that definitely as a gift. And for anyone who was participating, we do have some people in the chat, and I just want to comment on that. Oh my God, I feel seen.
Hi,
Okay,
Debbie
thank
and
you.
Ron.
Yes. Yeah. Rhonda, I hate to say this, but we are really running tight on our time. So, and we do have some more questions that we want to get through tonight.
Okay.
So I'm handing it off to Star.
Yes. So I want to quickly ask you, tell us about what's important to you right now. What's important you want to see for yourself right now? Yes.
For myself, what I would like to see for myself is a bigger presence, teaching people how to step out of their vibrational the vibration of lack, and into the vibration of prosperity, and also to teach people to help them through their shadow work, because I know what that's like to go through shadow work. It's hard, and I would like to see people be able to do that. So I really want to get more public awareness on how people can help themselves, not to take the place of therapy, but to add as a compliment.
Sounds great. Yeah.
You're doing
it enhances. It would enhance. It definitely would not hurt. It would enhance.
Yes,
so that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know we have a couple other things, but I want to ask you, talk to us a little bit about your, community and the importance of community. How is community playing a part in your world right now?
Community is, during the pandemic, that was very harsh. Because I used to, we go into town, we have like our little Albuquerque witch groups and things like that. We would do things because it's important to me to be around like-minded people. That's just so important to me. And the pandemic kind of like screwed that up very badly. But now that it's over, going back into town, getting to be with people in the community, sharing information, that is really important, being part. Now, I'm not saying, because there are people who are very introverted. I'm not saying you have to be out in the community doing things all the time, but it is a benefit if you can find other witches and magical people to hang around. You feel like you're home when you're with those people.
That's fabulous.
And so community is extremely important.
Well, my next question kind of follows through is, what would you like to see us as witches accomplish?
You know what I would really like to see witches accomplish is, first of all, I'm just so glad to see like the Instagram witches, we're making a name for ourselves again. However, sometimes, these little TikTok witches, they're like, all you need to do is put some cinnamon in your wallet and poof, you're rich. Okay, it doesn't work that way. So what I would really like is actually for the young people to go back to the older people, to really be taught how to do this from a true witch's standpoint. No devices and things like that. I would love to teach these young people because they're looking at things and then they get sad because, well, I put the cinnamon and I didn't make any money. Well, did we program the cinnamon? What did we do with the cinnamon? What did you do? Oh, I just stuck it in my wallet. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now
So
you got
that's
some
what I would really like is
cinnamon
for
money.
us older witches, us elders as we were, us crones, to take our knowledge and really help these young people. Because what can happen is if they're doing it without the proper knowledge, and then we lose all of our witches because there it goes, doesn't work. So I would love for us elders to kind of get together and mentor the younger witches, to teach them what being a witch really means. It's not to snap your fingers and poof like Bewitched. Doesn't work.
Yeah. Wouldn't that
That
be
would be
nice?
nice. I wish.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Reality bites.
So exactly. I know you've already mentioned that you are currently on a radio show and you do weekly readings on the radio show, but tell us about some projects you're working on. Anything in particular, any upcoming events or projects that you have?
Yes,
happening?
actually, I am working on several books at the same time. A lot of it is for empaths and relationships because there's reasons that empaths have really hard relationships. But also, I'm working on, I want to help use my healing abilities. I can help people who have physical disabilities to use their witchcraft and their energies to actually become stronger and healthier. So I'm setting up a system, a format for that because I know what it's like to have your knees hurting so bad you can't even walk. But there's ways to use your witchcraft and your energy to fix that. So that's something that's one of my
Projects that you're
biggest
working on.
focuses.
Awesome.
One of
Beautiful.
my biggest is to help people who have physical disabilities use their power to help them.
So are there any events that you have that's coming up during this let's see, I guess the rest of this year or in the upcoming year that you'd like to put some more about?
No, we've got our Pagan Pride Day is coming up. That is always the last Sunday in September.
Fabulous.
And for now, I think that's pretty much it. We've had a lot of our stuff shut down, and it hasn't really started back up since the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I was grateful that the Pagan Pride Day is back.
That is awesome.
That's really nice. Yeah, because I was in New York. It's still not back as yet. They no.
Really? It's not back
I'll
yet?
tell you, there's see, people are saying it's over, but yet something is still off because a lot of the government offices here are not allowing people in person at certain places. So they know something we don't. And I'm just like, okay, because they're not giving permissions for certain things. And I'm like, okay, I understand, and so there's something going on, but whatever at the moment. So I'm glad that yours opened back up. Ours still has not been back.
Yeah, I'm so glad for that because at least we have that back, but a lot of our stuff still has not come back yet.
Here's hope. At least there's some movement.
Right.
Well, I just want to say we have trailing on the screen below you. We have your website. I've also been going back and sharing the link where people can download, the chapter from one of your books. Is there any other location, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere else that they should look for you? Or is this your website, your best location?
Actually, when you go to the website, if you look to the left of it, you'll see social media links.
Perfect.
And that will give you my Instagram, my LinkedIn.
Perfect.
I have a very fledgling TikTok.
That's
really done yet, but it'll show all of my links. And I also, if you go to Linktree and put in Goddess Rhonda, it'll show the links.
Perfect.
Yes. All right.
Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been forever. So I'm really happy to see you again.
Too.
And thank you. Thank you for joining us
back.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. Well, thank you again. And hold on, everyone, as we share one of our shows here on Magickal Witchy World TV.
All right. So
Yes.
astrology time. So with Venus and Mercury retrograde plus 2 full moons, all bets are off this August. This is it. The peak heat of the summer. Oh boy, am I feeling it. The raging,
Yes.
boiling, blurred days when the fever of the hard preceding months finally breaks. I'm wishing for that. Unfortunately, we're just boiling like crazy in steaming heat. Anyways,
Yeah.
the sun, Lilith, and Venus burn hot in Leo. Believe me, it is. Commanding grand
Yes.
displays of wrath, retribution, and retaliation. And we are seeing a lot of that happening all over. We are seeing it in the world entirely. When you demand with
Yeah.
fury that your exes, bosses, parents, let's see, and anyone else that you wish to be seen, are you throwing a self-indulgent tantrum or are you finally correcting an imbalance? Is it possible you're
Hmm.
probably doing both? No.
Right on.
All right.
Yeah, and in one of our videos, we've predicted that Uranus in Taurus 2018 through 2026 and Jupiter in Taurus 2023 to 2024 would ignite a years-long reawakening of the American labor movement. But the current battle in Hollywood could only go down now in a Venus retrograde in Leo, as Saturn in Pisces negotiates the conditions of projecting fantasy, while Pluto, just barely flirting with Aquarius, sets off a battle against machine writers of the future, the AI. And this is a big issue. It demands that we should be looking towards the future. By the time Jupiter enters Gemini next year and Saturn and Neptune launch a new era in Aries in 2025, the embodied self and its trippy dreams will be the greatest show on earth. Who cares if these institutions fall, so long as you're creating something meaningful in the present?
Yeah. And on August 1st, the same day as Lunarsar, the pagan launch of harvest season, an Aquarius full moon launches the month with a streak of optimism. So I want you to greet that ongoing meltdown with ideas for you and your creative cohorts so that you would live in a post human, I guess, cyberpunk state. Okay?
Hmm.
So we want you to kind of stay there for a bit. So Leo season is the time when leaders are born, and this moon rewards those with daring levels and visions. It's now or never. The Venus retrograde in Leo is well underway, inspiring what you'll call kind of like a femcore style revolution and the final annihilation of certain toxic, horrid constructs. Let it be buried forever and all time. And I want you to take this time to experiment with and express your own new shapes and forms. The Sun and Venus comes into magical conjunction on the 13th. And if ever there was a time to transcend the drip drip despair of everyday life and the doom of what's to come, it's now. All
Yeah.
right.
On August 16th comes the new moon in Leo. So it's a time to gather with your closest inner circle and rejoice in collective affirmation. If you've never told anyone of your dreams of opening a business or career change, it's time to say the words out loud. What does it feel like to speak them into reality? And who will be there to support your dreams, bringing those dreams into reality? So on August 23rd, as the sun enters Virgo, Mercury lurches back in its home sign. Yes, yes, we'll get to the Mercury retrograde.
And that a Mercury retrograde in Virgo is a classic, just in time for, I guess, back to school season. You're given a little
Mhm.
extra recovery from the vitality of the summer. This one runs through September 15, all the way through there.
Mm.
So I want you to think of it as a chance to bring those grand ambitions to earth, make it stabilize, and find a way to make your dreams tangible and in the now, bring it into fruition. So plan
Mhm.
ahead of what's coming next. After one hell of a month, the goddesses hands us a creative culmination with the Pisces full moon on August 30th. In the sign of synthesis, processing, and spiritual connection, the moon helps you to tell your story. And with Venus still retrograding, you best do it on a grand stage. So I want you to ditch the apocalyptic Nephilism and the dull disassociation and think about who did you become this summer? What did you leave behind? What did you face? And if you can own it, just own it all up and tell it. It may be the catalyst to a new beginning. So I want you guys all to know. So welcome August coming up. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So looking forward to
Yeah.
that. Time for tarot time.
All right. So we are going to pull
Excellent.
a card. The card we're pulling tonight is for us to reveal what state is the US or even the world in right now, and how will it affect us coming in the upcoming month through all those, what you call, the times that we just read out to you. Okay. So
Excellent.
let's see if we can pull that one card that we're doing, and let's see how it plays out for us.
All right. So we're pulling a card.
Oh my God, I said it's so bloody hot.
Yeah, it is.
So hot. Okay. So what have you got, Goddess?
The world in right now. The card that I have is the Three of Pentacles. And what does that tell us right now? That's a pretty interesting card, because Three of Pentacles is all about rebuilding of foundation. And it really is talking about, apologies for this card going all over the screen. I'm trying to find the camera. It's really about making certain that we do what? We're asking the question, what is pull a card for revealing what state is the US or even the world in right now? It's about going back to the foundation. And that is really key.
Vital.
I mean, people are really beginning to tap into and ask themselves the question, what do I believe fundamentally? Who am I fundamentally? And that is huge right now. And I think that it's causing people to do a lot of deep diving into themselves, to figure out, who am I fundamentally and what do I want my world to look like? And it's about going back to basics in many ways. Pentacles is earth energy. And here we have three people who are in the basement of we'll say a church or abbey or what have you, trying to, you see though, well, you probably can't see it, but it looks as though they're engineering or they're looking at the plans of how to build this structure. So we have to do a lot of study, review, and figure out what kind of world we're looking to build going forward.
All right. And I had a jumper plus the one I pulled. So I'm gonna kind of put it in both. And the one that I pulled, yes. I don't know if you can see it, is the tower. And if you look at it, it kind of takes the top off, and then people are falling on the sides, and a lot of different things. There's a lot going on here. And can you guys see it properly?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
And then you can't make this up, right? The Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So I know you're like raising your hand already. There's so much that's going on here with this. And yes, you brought that thought of bringing down earth, stabilizing things and making it come into full fruition and everything. So August is your month for that. And I think for the world and the US and everything, stability is beginning to come back to a lot of countries, the US and everywhere else, in terms of money and everything else. They're trying to stabilize it for everyone. But you have to understand, but a lot of changes, there's a lot of upheaval that's going to be going on. There's a lot of changes. And yet at the same time, that whole thought of it going back to where the foundation was, a lot of it is that. It's taking everything apart and kind of saying we have to start from the ground up, because if we don't create that foundation all over again, we're not going to see, we're going to be lost. we're going to just be going through all of this transformation and not destruction, but reconstructing of everything. And for waste, if we don't utilize the energies with that for what it is. But the outcome is that stability that we are seeking, that we want for us and around the world. So I am grateful for these two cards to see where it's going.
Two cards with this card.
I know. The combination.
The story is it's very straightforward.
Yes.
It is clear. So yeah, again, surprised but not surprised.
Yeah.
The cards that we got for tonight. Oh, that's fabulous. So, and I'm going to, let's see here. I just want to pull this off our screen here. Cannot thank Goddess Rhonda enough for joining us tonight.
We missed her so much.
So long. I mean, it's been a long time.
I know, right?
Thank you.
And she looks so gorgeous. I love her stuff.
Right, exactly.
And we don't forget to check out our Pagan Ninja playlist and the Curious Herbalist with Kenya Koviak. And again, cannot thank Goddess Rhonda enough for being with us here tonight. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share us on YouTube, Facebook, and everything else. We love being here with you guys.
We so thank you. I just want to check one more time and see, because I think we have some messages in the chat.
Okay.
I want to make certain we haven't forgotten anything. It looks like we are so good. Thank you, everyone who commented in the chat. We look forward to seeing you all next week.
Yay.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Goddess Rhonda, for joining us tonight. Have a great week, everyone.
All right. You take care.
Thank you.